We're back at the podcast here after a little bit of a hiatus here. Now, I have a new co-host named Athena, and I'm assuming you were named for the Greek goddess of warfare. Is that true?
No, I was named after Athena Onassis when my parents read about her in the newspaper.
Oh, okay. You know, the Greek goddess Athena was born from the forehead of Zeus. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He swallowed a
It's
pregnant
wild.
woman. It's crazy. Anyway, we want to get right to the Beatles, and we'll talk about you a little later. I'm going to tell you, I think some of the listeners know, but I used to work for Paul McCartney, you know, that fellow from the Beatles there. And we toured in Japan and South America. And this was back in the 90s. George Harrison was still alive. You know, he died in, I think, 2001. And, you know, he was one of the other Beatles. And, you know, a lot of times you figure, you know, he's on tour, McCartney, a lot of famous people are going to show up, you know, like George or something, George Harrison, and I can meet two Beatles instead of just one there. He never came. Ringo, nobody ever came, you know, because they're just not in Japan in general most of the time, or South America. If you know, we toured America, Los Angeles, for example, probably we'd get some celebrities coming in. So with Paul, I never met anybody else, but it was good enough just meeting Paul. But you know, Paul, that led to me working with Sting. You know Sting? You like the Police?
I do.
Okay. So anyway, I'm with Sting, and he was doing an outdoor concert that had a whole bunch of different artists on it, like Neil Young and Robert Plant as a solo artist, you know, the guy from Led Zeppelin. And Robert Plant actually came to the dressing room to visit. You know, I was filming. That was my job, to film behind the scenes. So I'm filming Sting. Robert Plant comes in and says hello. You know, nice to meet you there, Sting. There, and Sting goes, "Oh, Robert. Oh, I'd like you to meet my drummer, Vinny." Sting's drummer was a really great drummer named Vinny Colaiuto, and I think that's how you say it. And Robert Plant looked at Vinny and he says, "Oh, another fat drummer," because he was fat. Because in Led Zeppelin, John Bonham was their drummer, and you know, eventually he became a fat guy too. So I think it was just working out his aggressions there.